Much. All right. I guess you're there by now. I guess
Yes,
you.
I'm here. Good
Oh,
morning.
there you are now.
We had a kind of glitch there. I don't know why that happened. Good morning,
Yes.
everyone.
Yeah. Morning, pal. How you doing?
I'm all right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Steve. Something went crazy there. I don't know what happened.
I was
But
watching this morning. I'm going. Okay. But let's say good morning. Good out to my doodoo, Ms. Maloney, Marcia Rock, Ray out in West Palm Beach, Florida. Good morning to you all. Okay, you should get us now, Marcia Rock. Good morning, Wendell Stephen.
Morning, gentlemen. I was there and I was waiting, but I got a missive and I obeyed the missive and here I am. Good morning, gentlemen. I'm happy to be in the land of the living. Morning, all our listeners and viewers. Hope you all are hearing us loud and clear. Oh, I wish I could just do this program without clothes today. The place is just so hot and the
It's
AC just taking too long to get the place
please
cold.
don't do that.
yeah, don't do
Why?
that, Wendell.
I
No,
think
no,
we
no.
could try. I think we could try
Which
just
means,
for once.
and how in heaven's name did you sleep without AC?
No, I did sleep with the AC, but I use these coveralls too now. I don't know why, but so everything is just so muggy, and because I'm downstairs. The AC wasn't on downstairs. I have to come downstairs and now put on the AC. But the place is just so humid.
To be another
Oh,
hot day today.
It was a scorcher
To be another
yesterday.
hot day today.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yesterday, I think
Bordering on
yesterday
35 degrees.
not all.
yeah. In some
Yesterday
places of
definitely
the
not all.
country, it was 35. It was 36.1.
It felt like
One
40 by
place,
me.
yeah, uh, somewhere recorded 36.6 degrees yesterday. It was a scorcher.
Yeah. Yesterday, I don't think I spent much time inside the house at all.
Hmm.
I was
I
No,
was
outside.
in.
our day was challenging.
It was a scorcher yesterday.
Yeah.
It
So let's
certainly was.
send some condolences.
Yeah, let's start off with that.
Denise Plummer passed away yesterday at 5 o'clock with her family. So, I mean, in a false report some weeks ago,
Hmm.
the
A month
family
ago.
confirmed yesterday that she actually did indeed pass after battling stage 4 cancer for a while. So we will certainly miss her. She made quite a name for herself in Trinidad and Tobago and around the world. Former Calypso monarch, former Calypso queen 6 times. I mean, she really made a wonderful and such a beautiful person too. If you've ever met
Yes,
and,
Oh
she
yeah,
and
no,
was.
she
hung out
stands
with
up.
Denise. So, to her
She
husband
was.
and 2 sons, condolences, and certainly her fans. Michael Anthony also passed away, renowned
Hmm.
Yeah.
author, industrial
That was the
court.
news I had gotten on Friday that I didn't
Oh,
want to say
that's
on
right.
air.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure. Yeah.
yeah. So condolences to his family.
Yeah.
Retired industrial court justice Gladys Gafour
I got
Hmm.
that news too.
also passed away,
Yeah,
and
good.
and Patrick Solomon, who's the father of industrial court judge Elizabeth Solomon, who is the wife of the HE. He also passed away this weekend. So condolences to all their
Mhm.
families.
Oh, I didn't get that one.
Yeah.
Didn't get that either.
Yeah.
So
All
a
right.
lot of
Wow.
passings this weekend.
Mhm.
It's one of those kind of weekends when the country lost a lot of great people.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, but it was a scorcher of a weekend. But gentlemen, I have to tell you, I am absolutely pissed off this morning of a
Yeah. As
video
opposed to any other morning.
that's been circulating with 3 young boys. I don't know if you all saw it. I refused to watch it. I couldn't watch it. That actually took a young dog and hung the dog.
Huh?
You know me, I'm passionate about animals, so that disturbed me
A
royally. And the
local video?
giggling. Huh?
But I hope the police are
Local?
investigating.
I'm sorry?
Is
I hope
it
the police are
local?
investigating.
Yes, it's local, and I really hope the police are investigating that. I mean, it was horrible. Let me tell you,
Yeah.
horrible,
I would
horrible.
say Thankfully, I haven't seen that one.
No,
Yeah,
I
don't want to
didn't
see that.
watch it. I didn't watch it. But I kind of moved my phone so I wouldn't watch it, and I tried to listen to it, and I just heard giggling, and I just said, "No, that's it. No, no, not gonna watch that at all." I didn't, So
But police are,
that pissed
are
me off really, man.
investigating. They are investigating the video of the businessman who was abusive to the woman, put her in the can, pulled her hair and stuff. They said to be investigating that.
Hmm.
That went viral last week. So let's see if any charges are laid.
That's taken a little
Well,
while.
Well,
I'm
I don't know.
not gonna say that. It took very long to say that.
Yeah.
No, they didn't take long to say it. The day after they issued, when we spoke about it, the same day they issued a statement saying they were investigating it.
I know, but I'm talking about the fact that you're saying that it's been investigated and nothing. Is it that nothing has come of it thus far?
Well, they haven't released any more information. They said they're investigating.
Okay. Good luck with that.
Well, I don't think it should be hard. His name has been made public.
Mhm.
And I think they wanted, if I'm not mistaken, the car, if not the car license.
But he has also issued an apology of sorts.
He's also
too,
issued an apology on social media, so his name will be known. So
Yeah.
Take a pinch of salt.
So
Yeah, but
let the process take its course. So,
I did speak with some of my friends that live in San Fernando. Okay, you know everybody in San Fernando, it's where you have business to know each other. Boy, I tell you, I can't say a word on it, but boy, I tell you, that's it.
But unless the investigation includes or involves what is alleged to have happened before, in terms of somebody crashing into his vehicle and whatnot, unless it includes all that, because that is
well,
what is alleged also now.
I don't know about that, but I know that
Sure, you read that.
what we saw on the video
Mhm.
is worthy of investigation.
Clearly.
So I don't know that a crash into a
Definitely.
vehicle is going to make a difference to what I saw on the video.
I don't think you listen to me sometimes, you know.
I try not to.
I said, unless the investigation includes what was alleged to have happened before.
I don't know what was alleged to have
How
happened
difficult
before.
is that to understand?
Well, I don't know what was alleged to have
I
happened
didn't know
before.
what it was alleged before.
But I'm sure you all read the same thing I read.
No, I didn't read anything that you may have read. You're not sure about that at all. You don't know that.
But oh Jesus!
You can't be sure because you don't know what I read.
It's too hot for me because I using
You
the
think
word
you
alleged.
sure I read it? Or you sure I read it?
I using the words alleged, and you're not hearing that. So let me hush. I'll hush.
Hold on,
Let me see if I have any birthday greetings. I'm feeling for no stress today. As a matter of fact, I wake up this morning, I say, I think I'm taking a break in September. I've just given you all early notice. I'm not sure if it's for the entire month, but certainly for the first part of September, because I am traveling, and I'm traveling to a zone where I'll be all over the place in terms of hours. And I can't promise that I'll have Wi-Fi then. So I might want to do that. I'll officially notify you all maybe, by Thursday, hopefully. Thursday's the 1st, then. Thursday the 31st.
Mhm.
Thursday's Independence Day, right? So I'll let you all know by then. But I think I'm suffering burnout and fed upness and all kind of manner of things now.
I know
Yeah, I
you
know
need
you make sure you know.
Especially when I come here
I
and
know
explain
exactly
this
where you
over and over
I
and
know where
over
you
again,
need.
and defend comments I make.
You need to take a trip.
Me.
You need to take a trip. Anyway, I'm gonna say that.
Sometimes it gets to me.
You need to take a trip.
I
A
am
road
going
trip.
to take a trip.
Take a road trip. No, before you take the international trip, take a road trip.
Nah. Portugal, Morocco, Spain. That's where I'm going.
No, but before you do that, you can take a road trip in Trinidad and Tobago.
Too hot here.
I mean, you have they have AC rooms. They have air conditioned rooms are here.
Roads too bad.
They have air conditioned rooms, so you could take an air conditioned room and release. You need to decompress. The tense.
It is. I don't mince words when it comes to
You're tense, you're
some issues.
tense, you know.
Some
You need
issues
to
that happen. Yeah.
release
I don't hold
some
back. I don't
tension.
hold back.
You need
I
to
don't
release
hold back.
some tension.
Let me see if I have any birthdays. If I have any birthdays today. Hold on a second.
Mhm.
Let me find.
Oh, well, I'm being reminded of one more passing over the weekend. This is in the U.S. of Bob Barker at the age of
Oh
99,
yes.
former host of
99.
The Price is Right, which we
Yes.
still watch up to this day.
Yeah.
We could also say condolences to Steve Harvey marriage.
Oh, so that's I read something about that, but I didn't know if it is
I don't know
true.
why anybody's surprised, you know.
I wasn't surprised.
And let's take relationship advice from this man.
Mm-hmm.
But what's wrong? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with what happened to him? I don't know. Based on what I saw, and we could only go based on what we read, it doesn't seem that he's at fault. Based
I
on
think
what
it goes.
you all heard,
I think it goes both ways.
unless you all heard something different than what I heard, he doesn't seem to be the one at fault. Huh? Anyway, happy birthday,
I
Cecil
feel I
Hinkson.
still have something inside.
Huh?
Nothing. Go ahead with your birthday partner.
Liesel Margot Thorne, happy birthday. Kenroy Ambrose, miserable Kenroy. Happy birthday, Kenroy. Roger Valley, and who else? And Cecil Hinkson. Cecil Hinkson he lives in Canada, married to my cousin living out there in Canada. He is celebrating his 75th birthday today. So happy birthday, folks. And of course, um, over the weekend was Joey Rivers, Wayne Mason, quite a few other people, Darren Shepard, Karen Seabaran. Morning, Karen. Karen's birthday was yesterday,
Hey,
actually. I know
happy
Karen is
birthday,
listening
Carol.
for sure. Yeah, his birthday was
Yeah,
yesterday.
the best here.
Yeah. And of course, this weekend was Pan on the Avenue, and it was a huge success once again. Um, Quite a bit of people. It didn't seem as crowded as it was last time it was held. It was held last time in 2019. But it was very well attended again. And, Pan events are always very safe events. I heard of absolutely no incident. I saw none because I walked up and down the avenue. And people were just in a really good mood on Saturday, a really good mood. And of course, the Pan music was infectious as usual. Congratulations. Tamana Pioneers, the band that comes from all the way up in all the way up in Tamana there by Geylang. They came down. They put on a good performance. So morning to Lennox and Angela Tusa. They were both at the stand there downtown in Adam Smith Square. And of course, I saw Gary Griffith there. I saw who else I saw? Oh, Miss Lauren Pouchette, former head of the NCC, Dr. Clifford Thomas, and of course the Chief Justice, Ivor Archie, was also there, and MP Keith Scotland. They were both there with their wives, and yeah, it was a nice evening for everybody. Really nice.
Mm.
Hot. Place was hot. And of course, the plant pots that the Unicode put down on the avenue, the nice plant pots that have nice plants in them, were all used as garbage bins on Saturday. I do not understand our culture, I really don't. Every single plant pot was used as a garbage bin.
Were there garbage bins next to them?
No, I didn't see
But
much garbage bins, which
this
was
is part of
Richard's
the
hand.
problem. This
And
is
that is
Which was
actually part of
Richard's
the
exactly
hand.
that's
problem.
part of the problem right
That's
there.
part of the problem.
Yeah, but
Not
it's
that
still.
excuses people using the plant pots as garbage bins, but I have found that generally we don't put down enough garbage bins to make it convenient for people to put their garbage in bins. Not that people should be taking that as an
Yeah,
excuse to litter the place, but
yeah.
people will have a tendency to put it in the garbage bins and the garbage bins are close by.
Yeah.
I'm in agreement with that. But it still take a special kind of individual to
I
walk to
agree.
one of those things and see as a decorative plants and plants in it and still put the garbage in it. You have to be special. The other day I was going
But
by El Pecos on the avenue. because they've also put down those new transit shelters. They haven't covered them as yet, and they haven't put the advertising at the side. But the seating is there. And a guy was sitting where he should be leaning, and his foot was where he should be sitting. And he is there soliciting help for food. So the person I was with actually giving him money. And I'm telling the guy, I say, oh God, don't sit down there now. You know, you're already experiencing whatever. You know, set a good, but I ain't tell him set a good example. I said, come off the backrest now. Of course, he ignored me. What do? I can't see things like that and not say anything, which is, I guess, why sometimes I get in trouble. You know? But somebody needs to, our culture in Trinidad and Tobago needs such a drastic change that I don't have any hope that it will change in my lifetime, and maybe not in my children's lifetime.
I saw a picture of the Port of Spain Council being sworn in, I think. Is it that the old mayor had to be there with the chain around his neck to help swear him in?
All the mayors and chairmen who are in office remain in office until the actual new mayor or new chairman is sworn in. So in Diego Martin, it was Sigla Jack. In Arima, it was Cagney Casimir. In Port of Spain, it was Joel Martinez. All over. In Cuba, Tabaqui Talparo, it was Henry Awong. They all stay in office until the new appointee comes.
Okay.
And that's supposed to happen this week, I believe. Because all the new appointees are, in fact, in San Fernando, it's a councillor will get the chain. But most times the new head is an alderman, and the aldermen have to be sworn in this week. The aldermen will be sworn in this week. They do the councillors first, and then they do the aldermen together with mayor and deputy mayor. That is done at the same time.
Okay.
That's generally.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So it continues. What has happened at the weekend? We didn't talk last week about this an international story where the president of the Spanish Football Soccer Federation, Luis Rubiales, he's now officially been suspended by FIFA, right? And he planted a kiss on one of the female players after they were victorious on her mouth.
Oh,
and say he's not resigning. Oh yeah, it went global.
I didn't
That
see
went
that.
viral.
Is that underage?
And don't think but still she didn't invite the kiss. She clearly was in shock from the pictures you saw, and he held her head and put a kiss on her lips. I don't know if it's a Spanish custom that's a normal thing.
I know it's a French custom. French.
I know that I never see him kiss none of the men on the lips when Spain victorious. You understand?
Yeah.
Because in cultures where that is predominant, they don't discriminate the genders. You understand?
No, they don't.
Yeah, but he hold the woman's face and kiss her on her lip, on her mouth, and don't think he should resign.
So was he reason given for doing it?
Me don't know. He must have wanted to kiss her.
Okay.
She did not consent to the kiss. The players, Jenny her more so.
So she's the one who made it an issue.
And the team have said, the players said they will not play any more games as long as he's in charge.
Oh.
Clearly the team, he's the president of the Football Soccer Federation in Spain.
Oh.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? And don't think he should resign.
No, he will eventually have to. Trust me.
Yeah.
In cultures like that, you'll have no choice.
Crazy, yeah? That's absolute craziness.
Mm.
And Donald Trump's campaign raised $7.1 million from merchandising of his face with the mugshot.
What?
T-shirts, coolers, coffee mugs. $7.1 million. What do you think Donald Trump does support? But yesterday, Donald Trump does support. On Friday alone, he raised $4.1 million. Or yesterday, I think Donald Trump does support.
Yeah, let me take a picture here.
If you get 10 cents, we'll take you plenty.
Still better than zero.
Well, I ain't sure they'll get it since. Sadly, Tobago recorded its ninth murder. What a 17-year-old doing in a club, in a bar?
Why is that unusual?
That is not unusual.
It should be unusual. Let me put it that way.
It should be against the law, but it's not
I'm
unusual.
sure, yeah.
Well, it should be against the law because alcohol is being served.
Hmm.
So
So
she
they should not be in there in
was
the
in
first place.
an uptown bar in Crown Point
Hmm.
Sunday morning when some shootout ensued and she and another female person was shot. She succumbed to her injuries. The other female is warded at hospital.
Hmm.
So where your parents?
Mm-hmm.
Where your parents?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And now you're no longer alive because you end up in a bar. School opening when?
You have a week again, huh?
Monday.
And now she's not alive. What are you doing in a bar? She's a student of Mason Secondary school student here in a bar Sunday morning.
Hmm.
Where your parents?
Yeah, it's a sad story.
Very sad story.
Hmm.
And also on the crime front, well, congratulations to the police because there are several operations in the north, northeastern, central, north central, and San Fernando areas, and they arrested 33 people for various offenses over the weekend. So if to congratulate them, they out and about. They also had to intervene, and there were 2 murders or 3 murders investigating. One is in Guayari, where the police are working on a theory that the murder of a 31-year-old man and intimidation of residents along the East Coast, including Guayari, Fishing Pond, Manzanilla, and Sangre Grande, are being terrorized by criminals asking about information on drugs that are washing up on the coastline.
From the time I read that story of drugs washing up on
You
that,
know you're going back now.
I know it's going to have trouble in that area.
Mm-hmm.
You just know that because people going to take it up, hide, and they're going to come looking for it, and it will cause.
But that's exactly what's happening.
Said so done. Yep.
And they're terrorizing $21 million worth of drugs, to cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
And the criminals are terrorizing the restaurants, going house to house sometimes, asking if I have any drugs in the coast.
Mm-hmm. And imagine you're not reading where the police have stepped in any of those incidents.
No, that's not true. The report is that the police have stepped in and are investigating.
Okay.
And are speaking to the residents and have stepped up patrols in the area and presence in the area to intervene in terms of what has been happening. So don't say that. That's
you would
actually
think, okay, so you would think the police, the first thing the police would do is they should be doing the house searching for the drugs.
Well, they have been going house to house asking residents and advising them if you have seen any drugs, bring it to the police or advise the police where you have seen it, because taking possession of it, one, is against the law, and 2, may put your life in danger. So the police have been doing that.
Okay.
So read the report before you make a statement.
I made a comment based on what I heard from you.
Read the report before you make a comment.
Mm-hmm.
So don't prejudge, because they have been quite proactive from the time the police discovered the find, because just like you, they know what will happen in the aftermath of it.
Uh-huh.
It's not a unique situation. Whenever drugs go missing or somebody ain't passed on the drugs properly, people start to die. So the police have been proactive, and
have they recovered any yet, or have they arrested anybody?
They've recovered some.
Mm.
And they had intervened in a shooting incident where and seized a car where false plates, a gun, and a magazine with 11 rounds of ammunition were found in the car. So the police have been actively dealing with the situation.
Okay.
Yeah, they're working on this area that they both either capsize or somebody must have bought the boat and they have to throw the drugs overboard now. Kind of thing. So they have been doing some interventions where that is concerned. So this was a very, very busy weekend.
Yep.
You
And
know,
in sports, of course, we have not medaled at all in these games. For the first time, our men didn't make the 4x400 finals. We've been consistent in making the finals and medaling in that particular um, event. We
what event is
didn't
that?
the 4x4, the
This
four by
World
four.
Games,
Yeah,
World Championships.
we've been consistently making finals and medaling in that. We didn't
That's
this
true.
time, so we would have left these games without a medal. Of course, the star of these games is always Jamaica, but Shakari Richardson really stamped her name
She's proved
after
us wrong.
after
Yeah,
the
she had a rough start a couple of
last
years ago
dance.
and have
Yeah,
been under international consternation. But she's
yeah,
really put down her head, forget all the old talk, and worked, and is doing very well
yeah,
now.
yeah. She
And
has
you
she
could
has
tell
been there.
also on the interviews that she's had some sort of public speaking coaching
Mhm.
because her whole demeanor is different.
Yeah, yeah,
Her
yeah.
whole
But not
demeanor
like
is less
winning,
aggressive. Huh?
I say not like winning, to get you
No,
to
but in addition to the winning, because she's won before and
mm,
had a particular disposition
mm,
for courting controversy. But in a couple of interviews I've seen, she clearly has had some kind of intervention, which is good, because
yeah,
she's very clearly talented.
yeah. She is.
So good for her. So those are the big stories bubbling around Trinidad and
And,
Tobago and the world.
yeah. And not West Indies, sorry. The TKV, I call them Trinbago Night Vipers. We lost on one, we won last night. I call them Vipers. Any team with Andre Russell, trust me, is a team with Vipers. And we have real Vipers in this team. We have probably the best team in this CPL, in terms of talent and so on. But my God, we play such bad cricket sometimes. So we played bad cricket on what was that? Thursday or Friday, one of those days we would have played. And then we won last night. So I stayed up last night to watch us win. Um, and of course, the Vipers got us home in Karen Pollard and Andrew Russell. Ensured that we made the 180 we were chasing. And 180, just somewhere around
Well,
there.
we made 180.
Yeah, well, we chased, we chased the runs.
Yeah, my cricket was spoiled.
Yeah, why?
Because watching cricket, all of a sudden I see my sister-in-law on television. Because she lives in St.
I saw you put that
Holding
up.
up the side, and I'm going, oh no.
I saw I saw Indar Parashram too in St. Kitts. One time the cameras panned on him and his family, you know. But St. Kitts, I've never been to St. Kitts, but the place looked just so beautiful, and they keep showing you pictures, images of
Yeah,
St.
it's
Kitts
nice actually.
over and over. It really looks beautiful.
Yeah, it is nice.
Yeah.
It is nice. In fact,
That
right up
was
the
fun.
Caribbean, from Grenada to St. Lucia, even to St. Kitts, St. Martin. Thank goodness Cal have flights going to St. Kitts now.
Oh, and Cal and Coco Reef continue their winning streak, particularly Cal's 7 consecutive best regional airlines. So, despite a rough week last week, Cal came out smelling roses this weekend. So,
Yeah.
congratulations to Cal. And the Coco Reef Resort in Tobago also came out for top honors in the World Tourism, I think, Awards or something like that. So, congratulations to them both.
Coco
Yeah.
Reef. Okay.
I see there were
So
some
Cal
articles.
finally got some good news.
Yeah, but there were some articles over the weekend of the salaries of pilots and the cargo manager. I don't know if you all read that over the weekend.
But those are not odd range salaries for pilots.
No, when you
Look
can
at the
make
pilots
it
around.
25,000.
Yeah.
$25
Yeah.
And
the cargo
the starter
manager.
pilots get 50,000. That's not that's like 5,000 US. Less than, you understand? Less than
The
5,000
cargo
US.
manager makes
A commercial pilot,
71,000.
come on.
It's like, wow.
All right,
Makes
Lauren Carol Guevara, she said, Steve, this is for you. Can you please find out from WASA what's going on? Today's the 4th day they're without water in Edinburgh 500.
Yeah, because of the, let me see if I get it here. should. Here it is.
Chris to say good morning. I'm not reading your messages. No, yes to the first one, no to the second one, and we can talk about the third one.
Yeah. So, Carol, the emergency repairs at the Caroni water treatment plant returned to full production as of yesterday morning, 5 o'clock. So you should get water now. It takes about 24 hours to regularize. So you should get water by now. That was the last update from WASA. All right.
Shall we roll into the papers while you all think of a question for this morning? It is Monday, the 20th of August, 6:40, 20 minutes before 7 o'clock. Let's start with the Express. 48-hour wait for water emergency repairs at the Caroni water treatment plant were completed before daybreak on Sunday, but some residents may have to wait another 48 hours for the pipeline supply to return to normal. Denise loses cancer battle. Of course, I spoke about that earlier this morning. Denise Klamaboka passed away yesterday at the family home. The family is confirmed. So too Tuko. She'd been battling stage 4 cancer for a while. Condolences to her family, colleagues, and fans. Puran Pollard get first win for TKR. Nikwan plant fully operational again. Let's move now to the Guardian online. Calypsonian and gospel artist Denise Plummer dies. Girl 17 killed while lambing at Tobago bar. Media stalwart Grenville Kissoon laid to rest yesterday. Maxi Taxi fraternity pays last respect to Linus Phillips. A shootout in Port of Spain Mall that occurred just after 10 on Saturday. Big daylight. Annual pay hikes for CAL pilots since 2017. Of course, all the pilots' salaries are being released. I don't think by guess. I find they should release management, pilots, everybody.
That's what's coming up next.
Well, that's what I said. The manager for cargo with no experience makes $71,000 a month.
Foster Cummings writes to COP about special branch probe, clear my name. Guyana economy has outperformed TNT's. Mover man killed in hit and run. And Caribbean Airlines, Coco Reef, and Spa continue winning streak at World Travel Awards. So congratulations to them. On to the news day now. South Lawyers' Right seizure and closure of San Fernando Court. Denise Plummer has died. Blood flows on trail of missing cocaine shipment. State to compensate ex-cameraman for assault. Trini finalist in Mr. Gay Great Britain competition. Health Minister says cut down on doubles fast foods. Kamala mourns Gafoor and Anthony. Businessman wants answers on firearm license approval. And Teaching Service Commission ordered to provide information on teacher. Duke tells THA address the needs of Tobagonians. All of a sudden, he focused on Tobago again. And I guess he's still in there. Martinez says arrest crime.
Sorry.
So those are the stories.
I think my mic was
What?
nothing.
Martinez says arrest crime. There's Joel Martinez. Guess he wants to go out with a blaze of glory. So those are trending stories online in your Express, Guardian, and Newsday for today, Monday, the 20th of August, 2023. Happy Independence, Trinidad and Tobago. We can start singing it from now.
Happy Independence.
I know you're smiling, so.
Well,
That's your mayor.
Me, I out of council.
That's your mayor.
This is the week. This is the week that the police and the army and the Coast Guard and all the arms of state get to show off. This is the 1 week you see professionalism to a fault.
For the most part.
Yeah. You see it. The attitude changes. Everything. I think they thrive at independence time. They do
not a bad time to thrive.
Independence time. You know,
you're the best of the country.
Yeah. Yesterday morning, I tell you, a helicopter was flying so low. And pretty much was just circling and circling so low.
Mm.
I said, wow, I don't know what they're looking for. Oh, he probably had a
Oh,
girlfriend around the area.
I
Good
haven't
morning
seen
to
that.
Carol
did you
Guevara.
also? I don't know if it's a spoof or the most viral video up in the weekend on TikTok about this situation in Trinidad and Tobago where a man in the video is came back into a room. Apparently,
Oh,
he's in a relationship with a woman who has a son, and he's
with Keisha.
alleging that the woman's his stepson, stole money from him. So he left in a huff and a puff and said, "Until you get rid of this boy, I'm not coming back." He came back, used his key to get back in the room, and she's lying down on her phone, and a man lying down in the bed in his
On his
boxes in his
phone.
breast. And he's telling this woman, "This what you're doing me? This what you're doing me?" And neither of them are phased. The man here phased, and he's quarreling, but "This what you're doing me?" And asking, "But does the man know about the infection you have?"
Yeah.
So, I want my pillow, and she takes off the pillow slip and hands him the sponge pillow, and it's like, really?
And he won back. He won back the AC too, not
And he
just the
won back the
pillow.
AC, and she said, "Take it."
Yeah.
It was the most hilarious thing I ever saw for the weekend. Good morning, Mr. Raghubar Singh.
Or the non reactive man.
Yeah, and the man on the phone and the supposedly outside man he more looked like he inside than he outside because he was very comfortable. But
The only
he's
time
not.
he stopped scrolling on that phone is when the guy say, yeah, you tell him about the infection. He stopped
Yeah, and he
scrolling
look around and then he gone
and
back
then
on
he
the phone.
continued to scroll.
I
But
wish I
Kevin
could have played, but
should
they've
have done
given me
something
no
and he said
permission
he never replaced it.
to play the image and likeness on the phone. And they're comfortable. Oh
Not
gosh,
only is
no.
he,
But
not
at
only,
least,
by the way, good morning, guys, but not only was he comfortable, in that he did not obviously see that man as a threat.
no,
No,
No.
he never looked around.
never looked, never turned around. And
But
you're in a
he
vulnerable
looked more.
position
He
because,
more looked like the man who accustomed being than the man who was
uh,
upset.
because you're in a vulnerable position. Your back is turned. You're not
You
seeing.
know, he don't feel vulnerable at all.
But he
Clearly,
doesn't feel vulnerable at all. He obviously doesn't feel, no, you can't do me nothing.
I think he was clearly
Reality.
determined though that his face not be in the video. You understand? But the guy actually went close to
But
him, so I saw his splat.
facing video over physical safety, because in a situation like that, you don't know how volatile it's gonna get.
Well, maybe turning around might have increased the
I,
chance of
I tell
volatility.
you, the man looked like he accustomed there more than the man who quarreling.
I don't even know why people go through the trouble of filming these things and making it an issue. Because,
For our entertainment,
well, clearly it is for our entertainment. But at least
and you know,
his hair was neatly plaited. Eh? Look, his plaits look really neat.
you know, there have been several people, and this is a proposed question. I know I know what my answer would be. That people are purporting because of the challenges we're facing in this country, that we're a failed state. Would you all care to pose this as a question, or do you have an alternative question, or a
I
failing state,
I think sometime way years ago we did pose that question,
or a failing state? Is
But
Trinidad and Tobago a failing state?
Well, we can
uh,
ask it that way, or we can ask, do you have any hope that our culture will change? And I'm speaking culture here from the perspective of disposal. Because what I saw on the avenue after panning the avenue just disgusted me with all that garbage in those plant pots. You understand? I don't know if our culture of garbage disposal will ever change. And I'm speaking generally. We have a bad culture here. Bad culture. And I don't know if bins will help it either. Because I think if the bins were there, yes, it would have had garbage in the bins, but that would not stop people from putting the garbage in the plant pots either. So I don't know which one you want to ask.
Let Raghubar Singh decide.
I mean, either one is fine. I mean, I personally don't believe we are a failed state, but
But I mean, that's a valid question. The issue of the garbage, how would you have posed that question, Manda?
In terms of our culture, do you think we'll ever see a change in culture in terms of our disposal, garbage disposal? I don't know how else. I don't know how else to ask that, but it's something that we've raised many times because you pull up by any traffic light now and look to your right or look to your left, there's garbage there from people who pull up by the lights and throw it out of the car. You see plastic
Yeah, but
bottles, you
that's
see paper cups, you see all manner of things. Look right now, you'll see it.
that's
We are nasty.
we are. We are absolutely nasty. Anyway, let me get the results of our morning poll from Friday. Before I do that, let me say good morning, to Carol Guevara, Miss Ingrid, Dorian Pierre, good morning. And it's your birthday, DPA. So happy birthday to you, DPA. Thank you so much for always being locked on to Power 102 Digital. Paul Saran, good morning. Brenda Isaac, Rena Bodu Jennings, Winston Jones, Kazim Mohammed, Sheldon Smith, Scorpion Pepper, morning. Steve Nowater, Kunape since Friday. All right. Pauline, good morning. Sheldon Smith, Ewart Ratchpaul, Edwin Marshall, Brian Marcel, Sunil Ram Samaru, Leonard Naipaul, Ebony Report, Josie Richardson, good morning. Josie says maybe the cargo manager monthly salary is inclusive of overtime. Not sure. Gloria Gray, good morning to you. Results of our morning poll from Friday. We asked you, do you think head would roll at Cal after that fiasco? That was our poll results after this.
Summer mattress savings now on at Furniture Plus. Get any size therapeutic EcoSense mattress for just $799. Serta mattresses from as low as $999. Big discounts on bases and 25% off accessories. Check press and social media for details.
All right, do you think head should roll at Cal after last weekend? That was our poll. 81% said yes. Right. Let's get into this morning's poll.
I would go with the feeling state one. Garbage one, you could save for Wednesday, I guess, because that's always a consistent issue too.
All right, let's go.
I think Paul is busy typing it. Are you
Getting
Paul?
there.
So there you have it. Do you think Trinidad and Tobago is a failing state? That's our poll this morning.
Yes or no? 222-8255, toll free North Americans, 866-525-1099. Our message board is down, so you have to use YouTube to send us a message. But yes, do you think TNT is a failing state? Yes or no? Call us, message us. We also love to hear where you answering us from.
So 222-TALK, 222-8255, North Americans, 866-525-1099. That's absolutely toll free. People in other parts of the planet, 1-868-222-TALK, 222-8255. And of course, people on the app or on other platforms, you can only message us this morning via YouTube, where you can put your comment and to your vote. Our message board is giving us a little technical difficulty this morning. So you can send your votes via YouTube on the comment section of the YouTube stream. So which many people do use to send their votes actually. So you can vote there. So I don't know, some votes have started to come in already. So
we've got Ebony Report saying yes. We got Dear Life saying no. Terrence Denny says no. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's our poll this morning. Do you think Trinidad and Tobago is a failing state?
Yes or no?
Yes or no? Well, Ebony Report is giving a more substantial reason for their yes.
Mm-hmm.
They're giving you some reading there.
All right. Good morning, caller.
Diego Martin says yes.
Thank you, Diego Martin. Have a great day.
Info.
All righty. Copy that. All right. 222-8255. Toll free North Americans. 866-525-1099. And on YouTube, like Winston Jones saying no to the poll. Mo Gaines says no. Guy Small says yes. Kazim Mohammed says not. Terrence Denny. Okay. Vaughn Drayton says yes. Pauline, no. Lorna Kalu Singh. Morning, Lorna. Morning, Indian. Kali, yes. All right. So 222-8255. North Americans, 866-525-1099. And on YouTube, you can message us. Our mobile app and website message board is down. So you have to message this way. They're working on it, though. Miss Ingrid, my answer to the poll is no. All right. Thank you. Do you think TNT is a failing state?
Somebody gave me a good question for Wednesday, but I won't say it now to pollute this poll.
Okay. Leonard Naipaul. Yes. All right.
We're going to be what, 62? That's what we're going to be? 62 years old as a country?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, 62 or 63?
61.
It's 61, okay.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
61. Could be 60. Yeah, 61.
Vernon Clark says yes to the poll. Thank you, Vernon. All right, coming up in 2.5 minutes, we've got major news with Evie. She'll be in. I think she's in.
Do you think Trinidad and Tobago is a failing state? Yes or no? We're a relatively young republic.
Mm-hmm.
We're one of the older republics in the Caribbean. We're 61. We're going to be 61 years independent on Thursday, which is relatively young globally when you think about it. But doesn't mean we have to take 300 years to get where we want to go.
Hmm.
And then Republic Day coming up later on in the month of September.
Did you give Sunil Ramsaru? Sunil Ramsaru says no, says yes. Nothing works. Everything is a problem. Bad roads, healthcare, social services, transportation, to name a few. So Sunil says yes. Then Rena Jennings said no.
And Chris too says no to the poll.
This pool is rocking back and forth like a seesaw. At least 2 people have given justifications for their yes vote. But if I had to, anyway, let me do comment. Let me do comment. So our poll this morning, do you think Trinidad and Tobago is a failing state? Yes or no? I have to agree. I have to agree with some of the comments in terms of our inability to, like in Ebony Repart said, TTPS is telling citizens to hire private security to make ATM deposits. The country lacks proper infrastructure, water distribution, and garbage disposal, and crime is rampant. I'll agree that those are comments, valid comments, but does that determine that we are a failing state? I'm not so sure. Well, I'll have to disagree with that. Wayne B says no. And Carrie Goddard said a failed state refers to a nation or sovereign state that has lost its ability to provide basic services and maintain order within its borders. So my answer is no. So that's also another no from Carrie Goddard. Michael Williams said no. Kenny in Harlem says no. I still hopeful no, right? Alistair Hart says no. We just need to work on our work ethic. Well, if everybody could have the attitude of that guy who lied down there while the man come back for his AC, we good.
I don't think that would be appropriate at all. That means you're not bothered by anything nefarious happening around you.
Well, that was nothing nefarious was happening around him. A man asked him back for a pillow on his AC.
All right.
Under what circumstances, Wendell? Under what circumstances? So these circumstances mean nothing to you.
A man get infection and one back
circumstances mean nothing to you.
Something wrong with that?
That a man keep coming with you lie down there. The woman take up the pillow strip and hand it back. So you have one pillow down. You're one pillow down.
A man get infection.
All right, let's get into some
infection too.
Ish says yes. Josie Richardson says, what is meant by a failed state? Alistair Hart says no. All right, let's get into our 7 o'clock major news. AV is in.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
Former Calypso monarch Denise Plummer has died. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley pays tribute to the late author Michael Anthony. Tobago records its 9th murder for 2023 with the death of a 17-year-old girl. And in the U.S., Jacksonville, a gunman who shot 3 dead wrote racist messages. Details in a moment. This is News 2, 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. I'm Avril Angel Bob. Good morning. Former Calypso monarch Denise Plummer has died. She's said to have died at home with her family. Plummer had been battling cancer for some time and receiving treatment. She started her career as a successful cabaret singer and transitioned successfully to Calypso. Plummer made her debut in 1986 at Skinner Park, where she found herself at the end of an unappreciative audience who were not cheering her on. Plummer was enlisted by Phase 2 Pan Groove and steel band arranger Len Bugsy Sharp in 1986 to sing his band's National Panorama entry. It was then that Plummer started making a name for herself as a Calypsonian. In 1988, with yet another Len Bugsy Sharp pan tune, Woman is Boss, she arrived at the National Calypso Finals and also won the Calypso Queen crown. Since then, she has taken the Calypso Queen crown a total of 6 times and has won second place crowns 3 times. In a statement on her Facebook page last evening, Plummer's family confirmed her passing. Tribute was also paid in a statement yesterday by the Trinidad Unified Calypsonians Organization President Aisley King, who extended condolences to Plummer's family, friends, and those who were touched by her remarkable talent and spirit. Plummer is the 5th female Calypsonian to win the Young Kings and National Calypso Queens competition and made it to the finals in 1983, 1988, 1992, 1994, and 2001, winning the title in 2001. She's also known for the very popular Na Leavin'. She leaves to mourn 2 sons and husband Patrick Bucock. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has paid tribute to the late author Michael Anthony. The Prime Minister, via a post on Facebook on Friday afternoon, said of Anthony that he encouraged us and made it possible to visit and revisit our ancestry and our progress. He said that he recorded the apparent inconsequential only to enlighten us about who we are and how we made it. Dr. Rowley also hailed the late author Michael Anthony as a patriot, adding that the nation had lost one of its best timekeepers. 91-year-old Anthony died on August 24th at his home, surrounded by family. Anthony, the renowned historian and cultural icon, published many books, including Green Days by the River, A Better and Brighter Day, The Year in San Fernando, King of the Masquerade, and Folk Tales and Fantasies. In 1979, the novelist was awarded the Hummingbird Medal Gold for his contributions to literature. Opposition leader Kamala Prasad-Basasa has extended condolences following the passing of retired industrial court judge Gladys Gafford. In a release on Sunday, she said that Justice Gafford served with honor and integrity and should be remembered as such. She said one of her most important public contributions was a monumental 3-volume 2007 report of the Commission of Inquiry into the operations and delivery of public health care services. Appointed in 2004, this took over 2 years to complete and consisted of around 1,500 pages. That report contained evidence of corruption or other malfeasance in the health sector, and then Prime Minister Patrick Manning proposed to send a copy to the Director of Public Prosecutions, the Commissioner of Police, and the Integrity Commission. Justice Gafford also stood up against political interference in the Integrity Commission, where she was deputy chairman. Prasad-Basasa said she was clearly not afraid to go against the political grade in order to uphold our independent institutions. Tobago has recorded its 9th murder for 2023. A 17-year-old identified as Precious Wills, a student of the Mason Hall Secondary School, is the victim. Reports stated that she and another female were shot at the Uptop Bar in Crown Point early on Sunday morning. According to reports, Willis was liming at the bar when a suspect began shooting around 3:05 a.m. Willis was hit in the chest while her friend was also hit. Both women were rushed to the Scarborough General Hospital, but Willis had already succumbed to her injuries. The other woman underwent emergency surgery and was warded. However, as Willis is a minor, officers say they will also be investigating how she gained access to the bar and whether she was also drinking while there. Officers from the Crown Point, Chauvin Road, and Scarborough Homicide Bureau are investigating the incident. In a statement hours after the shooting, officials of the Uptop Bar and Lounge said that an unfortunate incident occurred last night while patrons were socializing at their establishment, the Uptop Bar in Crown Point. A loud explosion was heard, and upon investigation, it was discovered the 2 female patrons were injured. Of the 2, one succumbed to her injuries and the other is in critical condition at hospital. Police are investigating the matter. Police are investigating the murder of a 31-year-old man and the intimidation of residents in Guayguari and other eastern communities along the east coast of this country. They say that they are linked to $21 million worth of cocaine that had washed ashore. Investigating officers also suspect that the drugs were part of a larger quantity that was being moved through the waters off Trinidad. The working theory is that the ship carrying the drugs may have overturned or been placed in a situation where the personnel on the vessel carrying it had no other choice but to throw the packages overboard. The drugs were washed up on Fleming Beach in the rural village of Fishing Pond near Sangre Grande, Fishing Pond North, Manzanilla, Mayaro, and Guayguari from August 15th after a boat transporting an estimated 3 tons of drugs capsized on the Atlantic. Police have estimated the street value of the packages to be worth over 21 million TT dollars. The TTPS patrols have increased along coastal communities in a bid to reduce reports of criminal activities, as well as to search for any more packages that may wash ashore over the coming days. The TTPS is also encouraging citizens in the respective areas to work with the police and to notify them the minute they see anything strange. You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital to 7 o'clock. A man who shot dead 3 people in a racially motivated attack in Florida wrote of his hatred of black people, police say. 21-year-old Ryan Christopher Palmita fired 11 rounds at one woman, hitting her car in Jacksonville before entering a shop and shooting another 2 people. Sheriff T.K. Walters said he had turned the gun on himself. Mayor Donna Deegan said the attack was driven by racist hatred. At a news conference on Sunday, Sheriff Walters confirmed the gunman had no previous criminal history and lived with his parents in Clay County. The 3 victims were identified as Arnold Laguerre Jr., 19, Gerald de Jean Gallion, 29, and 52-year-old Angela Carr. Mr. Laguerre worked at the Dollar General store where the attack happened, the company said. He had written messages detailing his hatred of black people, according to police. Finally put, this shooting was racially motivated and he hated black people, Sheriff Walters said. Well, finally, here is weather news for the period today until midnight. Trinidad and Tobago, mainly hot and sunny despite the low to medium chance of isolated afternoon thunderstorm. Gusty winds and street flooding can occur in areas under heavy showers and thunderstorm. Look out for a forecast maximum temperature of 34 degrees Celsius at Piarco International Airport, and 32 degrees Celsius at Crown Point in Tobago. It is currently 29 degrees Celsius at Piarco and 30 degrees Celsius at Crown Point in Tobago. Recapping your headlines to 7 o'clock. Former Calypso monarch Denise Plummer has died. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley pays tribute to the late author Michael Anthony. Tobago records its 9th murder for 2023 with the death of a 17-year-old girl. And in the U.S., Jacksonville gunman who shot 3 dead wrote racist messages. I'm Avril St. Bob. That was news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Look out for more news in detail at 12 noon and an update coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All right. Thank you so much, Avril, for our major news. You can join her again come 8 o'clock for our news brief. And yes, she did say 29 degrees at Piarco International Airport and 30 degrees at Crown Point in Tobago already. You know it's going to be a scorcher. Take a look what's happening traffic-wise. Trin City towards Orange Grove, a bit heavy, and pretty much there towards Page, not too bad, and towards Huey is a bit heavier. Take a look down San Fernando, make our way up north, see what is going on. Nothing really to tell you in San Fernando. Leaving San Fernando from Taruba, you've got some traffic. That's going to take you up to Claxton Bay. Rivulet Road is not too bad. But after Claxton Bay, you're going to pick up your traffic just by Chase Village towards Sugar Gorness. After that, it's pretty much smooth sailing straight into Port of Spain, a little volume by Swim Call. All right? So there you go. Quickly, before we get our guest online and see if we have any more votes, I have...
But the guest has not logged on yet, sir. So.
Oh, okay.
I should have really reminded her, yesterday.
Yeah. Josie Richardson says yes. Trillian Boston says, can you send birthday greetings to my daughter, attorney Nikisha Clark? Okay, Nikisha, happy birthday. Have a great day, Nikisha. All the best to you. We do like cake and ice cream on the Power Breakfast Show. Just to let you know that. All right. Okay, and our guest is, and I see you're busy sending a message to her. We're supposed to have Anita Haynes on this morning. Right, there's one down. I don't know where Richard is.
I'm here. I can give the results of the poll now. A lot of people had a lot to say. Somebody private messaged me and said, since a gang can barge into New City Mall, bright daylight with gun and cutlass to rob, TNT's a failing state. I can't believe that person would send a message like that. And so is the US a failed state? Is Europe a failed state? Parts of Europe? No. Think about what you're typing before you send it. So the results, we asked, do you think Trinidad and Tobago is a failing state? Yes, 11 people said yes, and 15 people said no. All right? 11 people said yes, we are a failing state. 15 people said no. And somebody named Carrie Goddard, said a failed state refers to a nation or sovereign state that has lost its ability to provide basic services and maintain order within its borders. So my answer is no. So, and Carrie Goddard is correct, although Guy Small voted yes and agreed with Carrie Goddard. But Carrie Goddard is saying that a nation has to lose its ability to provide basic services and maintain order. And this is not Trinidad and Tobago. So whoever Carrie Goddard is correct with the description, and it's correct to vote no. But people are voting yes. You're agreeing with Carrie Goddard, but you're voting yes. Have we lost our ability to provide, let me read it over, to provide basic services to everybody? No. Have we lost our ability to maintain law and order within our borders? No. We have problems. That's like any other place. USA is a failed state, or they run up to USA and live in. It's a failed state. Every day there are mass shootings there. Over the last weekend in Boston Carnival, had mass shootings. Huh? Would you consider Boston a failed state? Or the United States a failed state? No. So let's stop dumbing down and licking up Trinidad and Tobago from wherever they live in comfortably now. Tired all, yes? Not this morning. Paul done start me off this morning. Or you come to finish me? I'm sorry.
You know, when you were spoken, and I use that term very figuratively, Karen, you know, to share last week, nobody didn't tell you nothing.
Karen and I have a nice love, sometimes non-love
She
relationship.
she didn't describe you as very looking. Good morning, Miss Hayes.
Karen, you know, she have a banker.
She didn't describe you as very looking.
She have a banker. Plain and
She didn't describe you as very. She described the Prime Minister as very. He looks very. Good morning, Anita Hayes.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm
You walk into something, don't even respond, my dear. Don't even get involved.
One of my favorite
Anita, may I
MPs.
apologize to them? May I apologize to them, Anita?
MP
Good
Haynes,
morning, Anita.
One at a time, gentlemen. You all three are talking at the same time. Good morning.
MP Haynes, you and I know we have a special relationship, so I'll behave now.
very good. Very good. I'm happy to hear that. I'm sure everybody's happy to hear that. Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Not bad at all. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I am
Good,
doing yes.
Mhm.
You
When
know
you see every rich Steve turn to a police, you know.
Mhm.
He don't make joke when you hear, you know. He don't talk to a police, or you're talking too much already. Oh yes, he don't make. Well, he's messaging this week. Last week I said we have Anita on. He sent a dancing emoji, you know. Oh yeah. And then I told him, Guy Griffith's on tomorrow, and I wouldn't like to tell the emoji he sent. Good morning. All right, let's get a sense. I guess we could start with local government election, and
Well, we could start. Well, we could start with the poll.
yeah, we can actually, yes.
Yeah, because our poll this morning, Anita, was whether you think Trinidad and Tobago is a failing state. And of course, you had a mix of votes from our listeners. The majority said no, we are not. Am I right, Wendell? I think the majority said no.
Yeah, the majority. 15 said no, 11 said yes.
So what's your take on it, Anita?
Well, failing state. The term failing state has a fixed definition. And based on the definition, I would not consider us to be a failing state. We do have, by and large, democratic principles governing us. We have a way out of our economic situation, and with proper policies enacted, we certainly could be on a path to development. I think we as Caribbean culture, Trinidad and Tobago culture, we could be hyperbolic in a lot of ways. So to say a failing state, that is a term that is used in political science to define a mix of political, economic, national security spaces that I think we can be concerned that it may eventually present itself, but certainly not. I would not go so far. Certainly not as a policymaker or a person who would like to be in policy making to consider us to be a failing state. Because once you get to that point, it is difficult to ever be able to come back. And so I don't think we're at that point.
You see why I have to like you? Thank you very much.
Why is that?
No, because you're always honest with your answers. I mean, and you didn't play politics with this one, because I sense from some people that they play in politics with their comments.
No,
you understand?
But the thing is, right, as a member of the United National Congress and a person that will face the electorate or has faced the electorate and say and would have said that we have a mix of policies and ideas and interventions that would get us to X point. I don't think any of us would say that we are at that, because then we would then have to re-articulate our policies to correct what is a failing state. So I don't think we've ever said that. We've said that things are bad.
Yeah.
that things have gotten worse over the past 8 years, that we can see areas where, for example, within the national security space, within the post-COVID economic space, as well as in the pre-COVID economic space, that things needed to change and need to change quickly. So that is a valid discussion. But if we take the discussion into something that it is not, then we become unproductive. And that is something I'm unwilling to do.
Well, someone messaged me a while ago and asked me why we asking a question like that. It is for the very reason for clarification we ask questions like this, so people can be put back on the track of sound thinking and not propagate misinformation or misconceptions about the country.
I mean, as well as we exist in a space and we exist in a culture where you have to capture people's attention. So I can understand why the question is asked. I think the meat of it is when the question is answered. So I really, I'm not offended that the question could be asked. I just think that we do have to be responsible in our conversation, especially as because we are going 2024, 2025. I mean, we just came out of local government elections, and if you exist within the political landscape, we are all now properly on election footing. And so I've always maintained that my entry into the political landscape has always been one to promote sensible discussion, so that persons will be more willing to pay attention, more willing to get involved, and find their agency within our national development. And if we promote the idea that our country has already failed, then what are we saying to my generation about what we can do to make it better? And I think there are things that we can do. I know there are things that we can do. And I think that overall in the population, we have the capacity to do it. We just have to harness it and get it on the right direction. And where I am at now is I just don't believe we are on the right direction. We're in the right direction right now.
MP Haynes, you just said something there that make me pause raise. That you have decided, since you've gotten into the political landscape, you have decided to have intelligent conversation so that more people could start listening. I just wish all politicians would talk like that. I really do. And I'm speaking on both sides here. Have an intelligent conversation. Let the people who listening decide, hey, I like what I'm hearing from Ms. Haynes. I think I want to listen to Ms. Haynes some more. I think, that is, to me, that is the level we should reach in the politics instead of the levels that we have reached thus far on both sides.
I think that's why Anita Haynes has always been an asset to the United National Congress and the country, because the tendency of some politicians on both sides, quite frankly, to descend into hyperbolic and descend into populist and what's the word? I'm trying to be gentle here. Incendiary rhetoric is not productive, and to me, Anita has always been sober thinking and able to articulate her thoughts. Even though you could disagree respectfully. Local government election was completed. Give us a sense of what's happening. Is it the Princestown Regional Corporation, or that's in your constituency, or more than one?
No. My constituency is solely in the Couva-Tabaqui-Talparo Regional Corporation.
And how has that gone in terms of aldermen and swearing in of councils and stuff?
Well, for the Couva-Tabaqui-Talparo Regional Corporation, we secured, the United National Congress secured all 15 spaces that were up in the election, and all 4 aldermen. So I would say very well.
But that was never in doubt. Come on, that's one of those.
No, but we went from we went from 3 aldermen to 4. So it shows you in terms of the proportional representation on that aspect, we captured more votes this time around. So I mean, yes, it
was an extra seat there too, not so?
Yeah, there was an extra seat, the Royce Jr. There's a new seat. Let me not say an extra.
A new seat, yes. A
new seat, yes. New seat, the Royce Jr. So we had, so there would have been a new candidate placed into that seat. And in my own constituency, I had 2 new local government representatives coming in, Miss Sharon Badal Ahu and Mr. Ravi Puran Maraj. And so, we are looking forward, I guess, to new spaces within local government representation in my constituency, as well as in the Couva-Tabaqui-Talparo Regional Corporation overall. I attended the swearing in last Tuesday. to lend support to the persons who I will be working with, as a member of parliament and as an opposition member of parliament. I am very dependent on the regional corporation to lend aid within my constituency. So, we maintain a very, very good working relationship in that space.
Now, the chairman of that corporation, he's been there for quite some time. If 3 or 4 terms, I'm not certain.
Yes.
Henry Awong.
Yes.
Awong.
Yes,
He's
yes.
a councillor also too, not so, isn't
Correct.
he?
Is the
Right.
councillor for Piparis and Petro Tabakit, which is where I vote because I'm
Right.
from Piparis. So.
Okay. Is he expected to return as chairman, or because I think I was reading somewhere there was somebody in the running also?
Well, I mean, I know you as a person who would have existed within the political party system will know as well as I can't answer that. I can't answer. We'll see.
You're so nice, open I would catch you. And you
Yeah, no, I mean, I would be guessing. We will see. I think the swearing in will take place. Those swearing in will take place over the course of.
Yes.
So.
How is the UNC intending to move forward when the law becomes fully proclaimed? We interviewed the Prime Minister, I think the Friday before the election, and we asked him about the timeline for proclamation of the other clauses. The UNC has steadfastly said we are not in support of the reform. I'm paraphrasing here, but it will become law by January, in the words of the Prime Minister, if that comes to pass, and the full proclamation is enacted by January 2024. So how is the UNC intending, from discussions I guess you may be privy to, or your mindset, in terms of dealing with this new paradigm?
Well, the part of the overall landscape of local government reform that we're taking issue with at this time is the property tax introduction. And the UNC has been clear that right now it's also a question of timing. It's a question of whether or not the population is in a space to add an additional tax on citizens. Um, Again, I exist as a member of parliament. I see on a daily basis. And right now, I mean, when I'm done with this interview, I'm in my office going through requests with respect to book lists and stationery and back to school costs and that sort of thing. And I can't speak to what obtained before, but I can tell you, I was surprised by the sheer number, the need, how many people are coming forward and saying, look, we simply cannot afford. And that's on things like food, back to school, essentials. And so that is what we're looking at in terms of the timing of enacting that space in terms of local government reform. Do we understand absolutely that there is a need to rethink how local government
But
is
it's going to
funded?
be law. It's going to be law. It's going to be law that governs how the corporations are funded. So whether you agree with it or not, is going to be the law.
Yeah, but then outside of that, we exist in Trinidad and Tobago, right? We face issues with tax collection. We face issues with within that entire landscape. And yes, we're told this is a solution, but we live here, so we do have to wait and see how it will roll out in actuality. I really am unwilling to speak in terms of the assumption of a seamless rollout, an easy system of tax collection, and I don't, it does not work that way right now. And so you're right, it will become the law. We have done what we were able to do in terms of the parliamentary process, raising certain issues um as part of the legislative process. The political directorate within the United National Congress will decide if we'll take any other course of action between now and January, and make any announcements in due course. But as of right now, we will have to see. But I would like to reiterate that, I mean, whether or not it is the law, the people of Trinidad and Tobago are facing really onerous circumstances. And so, I mean, yes, it may be the law, but if you don't have, you don't have. And so what are you going to do? you know?
Are you surprised, or were you surprised by the intensity of the local government election campaigns in PNM UNC, but then also the new parties, because it was a local government election like I've never seen before in terms of this level of intensity. And as you said earlier on, it really was the start of 2025 general election campaign, seemingly for most parties.
No, I was not surprised by the intensity. I'm taking it into context. This is a post-COVID outside election, right? 2020, we had a mix of virtual meetings and so this was, you know, Trinidad and Tobago politics coming back outside. And so I wasn't surprised by the intensity. Those of us, again, who exist within political spaces, persons in the media, etc., I think we were all caught in the buzz of the election, but the general population, I I don't think the interest was captured.
Yeah.
And so, as a person who's
Why do you
always,
think that is?
why do I think that is? I think that right now, the population, people have specific things on their mind. They have the state of the country in terms of your own personal safety. You have questions of how are you going to build and grow, and especially if you're in that sub 40 age group and you're looking on, and how are you doing things like saving for a house and pursuing a sustainable career and things, and you're trying to figure that out. And I think that um once the conversations hit the political platforms, while we raise the issues, we aren't giving the answers, and so people tuned out.
Well, all of those are reasons why people should vote. Because, but obviously, for a lot of people, and this is a possible interpretation of it, so let me preface it by saying that, is that a lot of people obviously don't see that the PNM or the UNC has the solutions, because 70% of the population stayed away from voting, even though, of course, generally local government has a low turnout, but it has a low turnout for a reason.
Yeah.
People obviously don't think that this impacts their lives in a positive way, and that voting somehow can help transform their lives. They don't think
Correct.
it connects.
Correct. And I think overall, we really do have to, as political persons, so for myself as well, that's why I participated in so many walkabouts, and not just within my own constituency, but outside as well, because there is a need to meet people where they are and get into the conversation as to why local government is important and what it means. Because as a member of parliament, on my office day, by and large, the issues that come to me are local government issues. People don't see it as such, right? But they are local government issues, whatever drainage concerns, garbage collection, etc. And but you're right in terms of people figuring out how this impacts your life, and more importantly, how your vote impacts the system. And I think this year, if you weren't sure, with so many places having 5 voter difference, one one vote difference, and to suggest that your vote can't make a difference or it wouldn't make a difference, I think we're seeing, you know,
that it could have.
it really
Yeah.
could. It really.
Let me piggyback on the issue Richard just raised with you, MP Haynes, in terms of the messages that both camps came out with. Now, the PNM would have come out with a message of local government reform, and a lot of people were wary of it because they've heard it so many times. So people were wary of it. And then the UNC, on the other hand, dealt with crime and all the light it up comments and load up the matic and all kind of thing. That clearly also probably was a turn off to a lot of people. Now I'm saying this in the context of local government being a low poll, but maybe it might have been it would have been lower. You understand? Because of the messages. Because let's face it. Let me go to the PNM's message in terms of local government reform and full-time councillors and so on. That is not going to happen. That's my opinion. Because you have already elected people into office. Okay? So at what point in time during the course of the term will you tell them, leave your job and be a full-time person? So that is not going to happen during this term. It might happen for the next term. But that part of the reform that requires people to be full-time councillors can't happen when you've already elected them into office. Right? That's one. And of course, and that's on this side. And on the other side, of course, this issue of arming people in a society where we're seeing the results of people being armed illegally and some illegally. How those messages to me, what do you think of those both messages?
So part of what was required was one, gaining the interest of the electorate so that you wanted them to pay attention. When I speak to some of my past schoolmates, old colleagues, etc., where especially around election time, people consider the ads to just be a turn off because you're trying to listen to your music and then incoming political ads. So, we need to get people to pay attention. I think that the PNM being in government and campaigning on reforming a system that you fully well have the power already to reform that you didn't require local government elections to do that would not have connected. The UNC's message of securing communities, I think there's a space where the message of what can be done in local government to secure your communities, where Mrs. Kamala Prasad-Bissessar would have stated things like using local government councils for the municipal police, as well as gated communities and some other things. Those issues of how you will utilize local government in a national security space got lost in the more sensational spaces.
But wouldn't it get lost too when you're hearing rhetoric like cock it back, reload, empty the clip? Wouldn't those salient messages be lost with those very, very hyperactive comments?
Correct. And it was, Mr. Prasad-Bissessar raised that she was at that time trying to connect with a voting demographic that was in that 18 to 25 age group who listens to K Lion, who listens to that. Because it's a song, right? It is lyrics from a song. She didn't make it up, right? It wasn't new. And so she included the lyrics from the song. No, I get it, right? I get that it could have been jarring. But it exists within our music. It exists within our creative landscape. And so I think the question is, how did it translate on?
Do you believe it backfired then?
Pardon?
Do you believe it backfired? Comments like that on the political platform backfired.
I do believe that it.
No pun intended.
I do believe that coming out of the local government elections, any political organization will look at the strategies that you implemented and figure out what would work for a general election campaign. And if it's not going to work, then I don't think it ought to be used.
Okay. But do you think they were responsible statements on a national platform?
Again, I think that so I know the songs, right? I listen to the songs. That's why I listen to and from work, believe it or not, right? And so in the entertainment landscape, like I said, I do believe we need to rethink how it translates onto the political platform.
So you don't think it was appropriate?
I think it needs to be rethought on how it's used. You know,
Paul, you played me this morning.
Communication is really your forte, and I'll be, because I respect your right to respond in a particular way. I'll leave it alone, because I think we've seen the taking it out of the political realm. We've seen the editorials calling for more restraint given the environment, and I understand someone wanting to get national attention on very, very serious issues, but sometimes, depending on how the message is articulated, it may in some instances cause more damage.
Yeah, understood. And like I said, we are a political institution, and so obviously, once we get into our strategic planning, we would be looking very closely at what worked, what did not work, and what could work better, and reformulating and coming back to the electorate and the population. I mean, we'll enter a budget space. We will then go into 2024 very quickly. I mean, I honestly,
I'm gonna be mischievous here. I'm gonna be mischievous. How are you using the PRO?
really, the constitution of the UNC does not allow for a sitting member of the House of
Okay.
Representatives to be the PRO. So
You know, that's the only excuse I'm accepting.
Anyway, well,
The issue,
you're-
I
go
wanted
ahead,
to raise,
Richard.
I wanted to raise the issue of the UNC as an alternative to the People's National Movement. Now, in this local government election, UNC got the popular vote. And I know Wendell and well, in general discussion here between the three of us, we generally say that people vote a party out in the sense of, it's not that they so much want the other party, you know, but it's when, because of the choices and because we're basically a two-party state, the other party gets the vote by default because I am annoyed with the current party, so I'm voting you out. And so the other party gets my vote regardless. And that's not, of course, a healthy way for voters to vote. The other choice should be a valid choice.
Certainly.
Do you think that the UNC suffers, let me put it that way, suffers from attractiveness problem with a lot of voters with regard to your current leadership? Try to phrase it politely.
I think that over the course of the next year, certainly the next fiscal year, the United National Congress will embark on a strategy of being very clear with the population as to what we would be doing to correct some of the things that we see are going wrong within the country. You can expect to see, I think, very clear and distinct messaging rollouts, policy making rollouts, and we are going to be doing that in hopes that we can show the population, rather than just being an alternative to the PNM, that we are poised with the strategies for national development. And I think that becomes important, especially where we are right now. What people need to hear is what's going to be done differently, and how do we expect that difference to manifest itself, and where do we expect it to take place, and timelines. And so I think you will be seeing a lot of that.
MP Haynes, let me paint this picture for you, right? That a lot of people are also seeing, right? And you'll tell me how you interpret it. The East West, to win government, as Richard rightfully pointed out, you have to be, you most times you are voted out, right? The party in government is voted out. And to be voted out, you have to capture seats along the East-West corridor, right? The specter of a government being led again by Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar, that includes, and I'll call names, Anand Ramlogan, Anil Roberts, David Nackett, that on the East-West corridor, I'm sorry, it's just not going to work. To get government, you have to win seats on the East-West corridor. And people are saying these people hovering in the background. First, she's continue to have some of them in the parliament, in the Senate. You understand? They are very disrespectful. They've been disrespectful to the head of state and to so many other people. And just the specter of them holding a senior position in our government, to me, will have an effect on the UNC's ability to dislodge the PNM from government. That's my opinion, but it's also the opinion of some other people. What are your thoughts?
So most political organizations do polling, you do data collection. We also again coming out of the local government space, where we saw really close numbers in spaces within the Arima Borough Corporation. At least two of them were within, I think, 40 votes between the two organizations. I think it is very easy for us to take the more vociferous opinions and say, listen, people are not going to like this and they're not going to like that. And then, for example, I'll give you Anna Roberts as an example. He is on our national executive as the Northeast coordinator. So he coordinates the seats on the northeastern part of Trinidad and Tobago. And within those spaces, we did really well in the local government election in either gaining ground. We saw additional spaces within the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation. And so people may be saying something, but there are contributions there that we cannot ignore. And so while I understand, like I said, I understand what you're saying, but coming out of it, there are persons who have lent a certain level of contribution within the organization. And I use Anna Roberts as an example because of the work that was done on the northeastern region and the reward.
Anita, but I think Wendell's point is lifting the level of the conversation for the benefit of the electorate. And when you have conversations or statements coming from the political elites that are, as Paul would have said earlier, incendiary, negative, very classless, crass, and you have that kind of language being hurled in the political realm, the electorate is like, what? These are the people we elected? Because there is justification on both sides why the representatives who have said whatever, who have done whatever, are there. Mm-hmm. Just like how you're justifying the value of ANIL, which is really what you're doing there. You're justifying its value. But the larger context of the electorate is that we are not seeing, for a vast majority of the electorate, I want to say, we're not seeing the level of conversation. For a small island state, there is too much rancor and disunity. And you're in a competitive arena where other small island states and other countries really are not, they're not marking time waiting on you. They're moving ahead, and some of them are more unified in their purpose, even between their opposition and their governing party. They're moving ahead with a particular purpose and the unity in getting their country to move forward globally. Because you can't talk about Trinidad and Tobago without, and our movement forward, without raising our place in the global scheme of things. And to make yourself globally competitive requires unity on both sides. But when you have that kind of rancor going back and forth and explanations from both sides as to why that person is valued, it kind of sinks the electorate's heart, I think.
Yeah, look, I understand. I've always believed that, let me start by saying, we really cannot put the electorate as all one homogeneous group, right? There is a section of the electorate that, the way I speak, that I appeal to that section of the electorate. And then there's a section of the electorate that will tell me very consistently, you have to be more aggressive. You have to be more X, Y, and Z. And those are responses you get. And so different political actors respond different ways into the information that is being fed into them, right? From a varied group of persons that come together to become the electorate. And so I hear what you're saying. The only commitment I can give is that those of us who are coming into this space, we will, like those who held spaces before, we have to respond to what people are telling us. And what people are telling us now is that they will not come out to vote unless they see something different. And so we who are in the political landscape now have to be prepared to give them something different. So
So
those are the
does it mean that that the party took away from the low voter turnout, despite intense campaign, despite new options available, that the approach from all parties or most parties was not what stimulated the electorate to come out and vote?
Absolutely, that's the only thing you could really take away from that. That's the only thing. I mean, because like I said, it was very intense campaigning, and so, um, we
In other
are
words, you're talking to each other, you're shouting at each other, but you're not talking to us.
correct. You have left out the people that you were supposed to persuade, and politics is the art of persuasion. And if you're not persuading anybody, you're not doing anything.
But
So
school is opening in a couple days.
yes, yeah,
Your shadow education.
yes,
First of all, your impression of the CSEC results
yeah.
and CAPE results, and also your prognosis in terms of what you've heard about preparedness for what is essentially the start of the new school year.
Yes. So a couple of things. The data coming out of CSEC, what I've had access to is more regional data, and I await more localized data from CSEC. But the information that I have is that we are seeing better performances in math and English. Paul, you and I would both know, though, that we would also need to look at how many students were supposed to sit the exam versus how many students actually sat the exam. And I think over the coming week, certainly before we re-enter the parliamentary space, I'll get that information, and whether I need to pose questions in parliament or a private member's motion, or however I do it to get the information, it will be very instructive for all of us coming from the information that we had in terms of persons leaving the school system, etc. But as we discussed CSEC and CAPE, I do want to raise a very serious issue in terms of the administration of the bursaries. Look, students who apply for this system and who are seeking financial assistance based on their academics and um, their overall performance, whether it be in extracurricular activity, community work, etc., they would have submitted their applications and then been accepted, and they would have been awarded a bursary. And I have messages from students, calls from parents, especially over the last school year, where the monies were not paid out on time. I went to school internationally. What happens is that you're not able to register for classes. You could even get kicked out of your dorm. That is a very scary, a terrible situation for any student to be in. For their parents to be calling around trying to figure out via the Ministry of Education, being told it's an administrative thing. When you are unable to register for classes, just for those who may not know what some of the systems are out there, you have your list of classes, the courses that you need to complete to get your degree, but there are different professors, etc. The better you perform in terms of your grade, the better access you have to certain classes. But if for the lack of release of funding for something that you promised these children, right, they achieve something and then you are awarded something and then you're not getting it in a timely fashion, I really
Well, I could go
wholeheartedly.
one step further than that. And this is a practical example because I've heard it from people I know. Parents have to pay the money and then it's remitted back to them, because if they don't pay the money, because the money is not coming in a timely manner from the education
Yes,
ministry, they don't get their grades,
they don't get
they
anything.
can't register for new semesters, and in some cases, their admission is in question.
Yes, and that is a horrible, horrible thing to do to the young people of Trinidad and Tobago. And listen, I intend to raise it in Parliament. I want to also get into something on school repairs, something that I saw that was very disturbing with my own constituency. But I promised the students who reached out to me that every time I am on any platform, anywhere that I'm speaking, that I will speak on their behalf, because I mean, what it's 2006 I left Trinidad to start my university career, and you are outside. If your parents are unable to put out that money up front, and you hear any stories, right? Parents are going to loan agency here, there, and everywhere just to be able to pay the money up front to their children. I mean, that is, and these are students who, like I said, did everything that they could have to get this award, and to then be treated in this manner, be told, with a shrug, that it's administrative. I think it really is poor form from the ministry and the administration to not get this right, because the time is passing. This is going to be about the third year. At some point in time, you have to be held accountable and do what is right by the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And just on the school repairs, I was sent a Facebook video of the Gasparillo Secondary School, where the students could be in very significant danger. The steel beams are rotted 3/4 of the way through in some parts of it. And, I would have said it, and we had this discussion here, as the dance we do at the beginning of every school year, which is, why when the repairs done over the period of time the school had been closed, and the allocation is there, the money has been allocated to the ministry and just not utilized for what it was allocated for. And we have to question what, in terms of our own thinking, our own system of governance, that things that ought to be really basic and common sense approach. That, look, schools closed, these are the itemized list, these are the highest priorities, this could endanger the students, let's get them fixed over the 2 month period, so that we aren't having these conversations come September every year. We really do need to do better than that.
What is
My
the
last
UNC's
question.
position? What is the UNC's position with regard to migrant children entering the education system?
Well, the UNC has been very clear on that education is a human right, and that you cannot have a system where you have allowed persons to stay in your country via the permit between 2019 and 2020, and not make provisions for the children that are existing within our space. At the end of the day, if we are not in proactive and realistic in how we are treating with migrant children within our country, we are creating a bigger problem for ourselves 10, 15 years down the line. Because unless you have a clear, if you can't pretend they are not here, and you also cannot pretend that they will be leaving at some point in time. So therefore, what are you doing for persons who exist within Trinidad and Tobago currently, and who are under the age of 18 and require some access to education? We've been clear that the system as it is with the education permit is unrealistic. I sit on the Joint Select Committee for Human Rights. We would have met with Ministry of Education, um, the Ministry of National Security, in terms of immigration, etc. And then we're being told that there is no barrier to migrant children. And once you have your documentation, I mean, again, very unrealistic, because the migrant children that we are worried about are not people migrating from Grenada and Jamaica. We're talking about a specific group who will not have their paperwork because they did not come here, via the Piaco International Airport. And we have to be very realistic, and burying our heads in the sand and pretending what exists in Trinidad and Tobago that it does not exist currently will lead us down a very unsustainable path.
Yeah. MP Haynes, I know we are coming upon 8 o'clock, but First of all, I don't want you to change, right? I always want you to be representative of what's good and what's best in the country, as opposed to what's best for the party. And that leads me to my question. How do you respond, or what's your opinion of the comment made on a political platform by the opposition leader, Mrs. Kamala Bissessa? I can't remember who she was referring to. It might have been Vasan Barat. That party comes before country and go to hell.
Okay, that statement was part of what an internal campaign. And look, we've already addressed some of these things about you know headline grabbing and gaining attention and platform peacock. And I have known Mrs. Prasad Bisasa for many years at this point in time, and I can assure you that she's very much about country first. And so sometimes, what you say to as part of the fervor of platform politics is not really. You have to assess the totality of the person's contribution to Trinidad and Tobago. So
You're better than I thought, You're good, You're good. All right.
Anita, thank you for being with us. So always a pleasure speaking to you.
I am very, very happy to be here, and I just want to wish everybody a very safe and productive week. I see you all start very spicy. It is still Monday. You have many days to go on, and happy Independence Day, Trinidad and Tobago, as we celebrate on Thursday. So, and
is the opposition attending the parade? Is the opposition attending the parade?
That is on individual basis. I don't think we're going on mass. Yes. Yes.
All right.
And I mean, I attended the parade. I saw that the last time. Why last year I attended the parade. I didn't go to any savannah because the part of the parade I like the most is on the street. And so then I saw the news and they said, boycott, and I was like, well, I was there. I wasn't where you were looking for me, but I was there. So,
you were with the people.
Well, like I said, when throughout my years growing up, my dad is a police officer, and so the parade part and being on the streets and looking to see when you see somebody pass it, I wouldn't see from the savannah. So
All right.
All
we'll
right.
take that.
Yes. All right. Well, have a great day.
All right. All the best to you, MP. And
Thanks, Anita.
all right, gentlemen.
Have a wonderful day, people. Remember to let go and let God, and buy your tickets early for what you're looking at me so far is one of the best plays you will ever see. You have to see Richard in full gear and full garb, full regalia. If you go to see nothing else, go and see Richard Raguba singing that play. Spend your money and go up front and see him. You can't see him from in the back. Go up front.
May God bless you. So anyway, so Trinidad and Tobago have
at this point, yes.
Theater is on this weekend, Saturday. One show only, the final show in San Fernando of What You're Looking at Me So For. Tickets are on sale at all the outlets: C3 Center, K Squared Fashions in C3 Center in Gulf City, Friends of Marabella by the Roundabout, and Creme Fresh in Brentwood Mall. The box office at Naprimo Bowl opens from Wednesday, 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily, but you can get your tickets at all of those outlets where a lot of you go to get your tickets, and tickets have been selling since over the weekend. So get your tickets early, as Wendell said, because it is the last show.
And the more tickets you buy, the bigger cut Wendell get. Have a great day. Be safe.
I have no cut to get, brother. I pay for my tickets,
You can pay for tickets and still get a cut. That's two different things. Have a great day. Be safe.
Bye-bye.
All right, gentlemen. Do have a great one. Chat with you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. All right, AV is in. Let's get into our news brief.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
While things are bad and have gotten worse over the last 8 years, this does not mean that Trinidad and Tobago is a failing state. This is according to MP Tambakid Anita Haynes. She told the Power Breakfast Show on Power 102 Digital this morning that while things are bad, it is very possible for them to turn around. She said, "We cannot promote the idea or narrative that things are so bad that they cannot change." Commenting on the recently concluded local government elections, Haynes said she feels that many people stayed away from voting because while many issues were raised, persons may have felt that solutions were not offered. She said there is a need to meet people where they are and explain